You're one of the guys who laid the track for what is the NFL today.
I played the game, but I also made a contribution to the game too. Mom, whatever you do, never come out on the field,
Right.
and I will always get up. So instinctively, I got up.
Life is long.
Yeah.
Football is short.
It is.
Yeah, Marcus, I've probably saw your face more as a child in California than anywhere else. You were on every billboard. You were you had
That's funny.
Marcus Allen, on the video game on Tecmo Bowl, you were untackable. Like they could, like everybody wanted, because Dallas Cowboys had that cheat play, but the Raiders did too with you. So if you did that swing out, you always caught it. And then once you zigzag with Allen, it's over. So you were, and as a kid, my favorite football team was the Patriots. I was obsessed with Bruce Armstrong, big tackle from I'm gonna be like Bruce Armstrong. I knew my path.
That was funny.
Do you think about that at the time? Because you were Hollywood before it was Hollywood. Before you could cash in on it.
Yes, before their NIL. And I never even talk about that because it just brings on frustration, right?
Yes, right.
Depression and so forth. No, I don't get depressed over the things. I stay in the moment,
Yeah.
I enjoyed that time, and I felt like I was really lucky. The only thing that I didn't get to do was Hollywood went on strike. Normally the tailback at USC works, they put him in films and things like that. But the year that I was a tailback,
They had a strike.
they had a strike, and so I was the one guy that actually had to go to work at Jurgensen's Steel Company. Most of the other tailbacks
gave you humility.
Oh no,
Gave you
it was
work ethic.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It was perfect for me.
It was perfect. Yeah. You look at it. Yeah.
You don't look at it at that
But
time.
who needs movies that you'd be so good at checking on? Like, I kind of have that luck a little bit too. Like, I'll get somewhere and they'll be like, "Oh, we used to have that."
Yeah.
That happened to me to WWE. Like, I was one of the cover guys in the new video game. Now, the year before, the cover guy was like, "Bruh, that's your big payday. That's bigger than when you get on the video game. That's it." And
I thought it was a great time though.
yeah,
It was really, football was football.
yes,
And I was lucky enough I'm the first draft choice of the Los Angeles Raiders. So
yes,
there I'm in, I get the fortunate enough to be the running back at USC, which is the position in college football at the time. And then I get drafted by the Oakland Raiders that are moving to Los Angeles. So I spent 15 years in Los Angeles. And so I understand what you were saying. So
I'm telling you, you were a California's fashion plate.
yes, it was
Mark.
it was fun. It was fun being
And it was never a besmirchment. It was never like, "Oh, that damn Marcus Allen, he was at the bar last week." But, I'm saying, like, you took that responsibility and pardon the phrase, you ran with it.
I think I
Moms would say, "Hey, be like Marcus."
and I
in a
I
ton
think
of
I did it with some humility though.
Yes. 1,000%.
I was as much as I had my goals and I wanted to be a superstar. One of my greatest I think accomplishments, and this was voted on by my teammates, is I always got the Commitment to Excellence Award.
Yep.
Which was really sort of being the most inspirational teammate and stuff. And I always looked out for my guys. I was always sort of the locker room lawyer and say, "No, that's not right. Go in and and question that." So it was to me. I'm lucky enough to win almost every single award, but to get sort of acknowledged by your teammates,
Yes.
and that's respect. That's respect, right?
Now, because you're one of the guys who laid the track for what is the NFL today, and when you see what it's like coming to this now because it used to be radios, be like maybe ESPN, a couple radio shows. Now this is an event.
Yes.
You could buy tickets for just this. They'll watch the Super Bowl at home.
Well, we came along when actually, I think college. When did the ESPN start? They were.
I feel like it was right around that time.
I think their graphics were
Chris Bursail, full of error.
And now, yeah, of course. I participated in Super Bowl 18, and I thought that was massive. And then years later, you go like, "Oh my gosh, that was nothing compared to what it is today, the growth and what you want to see.
Yes.
I mean, you want to see the growth of the game. You want to see different countries getting involved and excited about the game that you love so much. So I'm glad to see all that. I really am and stuff. And you mentioned something. I don't know if you were, pinpointing this, but I was one of the guys that one of the 4 named plaintiffs that sued the league for free agency. The guys is benefiting from today, right?
Yeah.
So
man trades.
I've loved, I'm glad. I mean, I felt I played the game, but I also made a contribution to the game too.
And a lot of players were vilified for fighting for that free agency.
Yeah.
And
I was one of those guys that were sort of threatened if I went through with it, but I felt like, it was necessary, and you have to take a stand at some point, you know what I mean? Especially if you knew something is right, though, because there was all the other industries in the world. Once your contract expired, you could go to another company or a highest bidder, and we couldn't. We were,
and specifically running backs most recently.
yes,
Henry, Saquon, a lot of those guys were like, "Hey, I need to get paid," and the league
they
was like,
should.
and then they were able to, you know what? I will take my ball to another team since you don't want to do it. So maybe the Giants, while they're looking at Saquon,
Yeah, that was kind of foolish.
man, but
You
maybe
gotta
they
be
could blame Marcus Allen for that too.
You got to recognize what you have.
Yeah.
And you don't squabble over a few $1 million.
No, not when you
And
you look at the year he's having, because the Eagles have become an institution. Like, their offensive line is solid. It's just one that they invest. That certain teams are known for certain things, and you get him behind 5 guys that can go. In their case, they got 6 guys, O-linemen that can go, and he's putting up.
he can get it, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's strong. I understand he lifts like 500 pounds, like, I don't know, like 40 times, something like that.
But you were always known for you were quick and
No,
elusive.
dude,
But
hey.
you were known, but you were strong. Everyone was talking about your leg strength.
Yeah, I was tall. There was we would call me Dickerson. I think it was Chuck Muncie. We can go way back. Calvin Hill, 6'4" at the time, playing running back. Eddie George, another tall guy and stuff. We didn't hide from anybody, so it was harder, right? I love Barry. These are all my friends. Emmett, love these guys, like brothers to me, right? But you've been down. You're 5'9" and you've been down, and they're lying behind the line.
There was a linebacker.
You can't see absolutely
in us. Yeah.
So it's tougher. But I mean, I love all the running backs, but I do want to be critical of them, right? And I think they've been in part responsible for their demise. I've never seen, and it's kind of embarrassing as you watch Travis Hunter today, right?
Yeah.
Who plays 100 plays, and then you get a running back that go in and make 2 runs, and then he's like, "I need a rest." Dude, I mean, you're penalizing yourself, dude. You back in the day, we say, dude, never leave the field, ever.
No, I
You
think
make yourself so valuable. Yeah.
The world stopped when the young Richardson
Oh,
quarterback tapped and said, "I need a break." It was like,
dude, I'm going like, really? First of all, I go like at 18, 22 years old, 23, 24. You never get tired. You should never get tired.
And especially when you got a commercial break in a few seconds. I think when you look at the game was a lot different when you played.
Yeah, we played it more in the phone booth.
Physical. I mean, you guys are getting
Blackers at the very least were 240.
Yeah,
the very least, right? I played against guys that were like 260. It's a little more of a nickel package now. It's a little more wide open.
It's a quarterback.
Yes, and so, and I think some running backs get criticized when it's really not their fault.
Right. Yeah.
They got a lot of quarterbacks playing in a system that is designed for a dual threat system, and they're a one threat quarterback.
Yes.
And so why would anybody with any common sense say, the quarterback, why would I even respect the quarterback when I know he's not going to run? I'll just go right to that running back and tackle him for a loss. And we go like, man, the running back's not productive. I'm going like, whoa, maybe, change the system that would benefit not only the quarterback, that would benefit him, other than you put in a quarterback that is designed in a system for a dual threat system, and he can only do one thing.
Right. I think that not that Henry needed much help.
No, Henry, no. But he has Lamar.
That's what I'm saying. where you're like,
And Saquon has,
they got guys.
dude, you have to.
You have to respect,
You got to.
and I think that opens a lot of doors.
Right.
So, okay, life after football, finding new passions, new things, because someone with your competitiveness, you couldn't just go off into the sunset and then disappear. So what are you doing now? What is the world like for Marcus Allen now?
Seeking the truth, no matter where it takes me, seeking the truth. But the most important thing to me is being a father. I tell myself every single day. Well, first I waited till I was 54 to have my first.
Okay, I had mine late too, so I got them late. Yeah.
So now I tell myself, like, he didn't ask to come.
Right.
So I owe him everything. Nothing is a sacrifice. It's what I'm supposed to do.
It's your responsibility.
It's my responsibility.
And that's a lesson I had to learn late in life too, because I didn't have, I was the uncle. I was having kids. Right. I had time. I had my career. And then when I did have my son and my daughters, it was a period of like trying to be like, well, what about, I'm just supposed to give everything up. I want all my dreams masquerade.
Yeah. And it's actually not about you anymore. So
no, it's not.
If you do have work, obviously you got to work around.
Yeah, you work for them,
point.
And it's a different feeling.
It is. And he's 11 now. To see him grow up, and we homeschool him.
Yep, I homeschool video cinema. Yep. You have to.
Yes,
you have to. My daughter's homeschooled. My son's homeschooled.
So all those things are really important. But finding the truth is. Does it set you free?
Yeah,
it certainly helps you make better decisions when you know what is real and what isn't real.
Right.
It certainly helps you make better decisions and stuff. And to me, I realize the whole world is nothing but contracts, and you have to.
It is. And
I wish they would have, taught us contract law, because everything's about jurisdiction. Once you sign up for something, you're in their jurisdiction.
That's right.
And you have to be
it's funny. It's what's called wisdom. Now, you what I always say: don't respect anybody who dyes their gray hair, because they're not willing to accept it. And I let mine. You keep your bill, but Marcus Allen's too pretty for a beard. I understand. You've been like that.
No, I could. That's too much patchwork, dude. It just never grows like yours. Yours is full. Mine was kind of like here and there. You know what I mean? So
I'm telling you, bro, you were the heartthrob. Like every mom and every football game and baseball game I was at, it was a Marcus Allen this, a Marcus Allen that. So,
well, I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, I was like, well, I'm light skinned, but I'm not Marcus Allen, but I'm trying. I'm trying. We got the good eyes. But so, all right, real quick before I let you go, Emory College of Arts of Science, leading research in brain and health, human performance. So you're doing some work with them.
We're just trying to bring awareness to brain health. We know obviously concussions and CTE, it's prevalent in the game today. And like you said, Emory is leading in neuroscience, pharmacology, sports science.
Are you pleased with what you're seeing today in the NFL in terms of how they're?
Yeah, I am. We can go back when I played, dude.
Yeah, well, like I said, you can't. It's apples and oranges.
Their test was how many fingers do you have up, right?
Can you handle the smelling salt?
And what year it was. And yes, I remember, let me just say about the one time I got 2 concussions, right? One was in college, dove over everyone into the goal, into the end zone rather, and did a somersault and land. Nobody hit me.
Yeah.
And, expect people to hit you. Nobody hit me, and I landed on the back of my head. It's like a fighter hitting it,
like a
canvas, right? Yes. Yeah. And so obviously stumbled up, walked to the sidelines and stopped. And I kept asking guys, what was I doing? And they said, all you doing was laughing, right? So that was sort of my pattern. But this one was really sort of serious. And thank God I hadn't had any sort of issues, any symptoms of any issues or anything like that. But I went to cut a guy, and I guess obviously hit his knee. And I always told my mother, I said, Mom, whatever you do, never come out on the field.
Right.
And I will always get up. So instinctively, I got up. Right. And I stumbled, and I was near the bench. So the guys came out and assisted me. And they sat me back down, and they gave me smelling salts. And I obviously, it's like, yeah, okay, I'm good. Right. I go to the sidelines and they say what year it is. So I never really cursed at the medical staff.
Smart.
But at this particular time,
Yeah.
to be when you were emphatic, they believed you, right? And what I also had was a currency. I was never hurt, so when I told them that I was fine, they believed me, right? So they told me how many fingers I got up, and I said, I know how many darn fingers you have up, right? And then they said, what year it is? I know what darn year it is. And they said, oh, he's fine, he's good. So I went and stood next to the coach, and I looked at him, stared at him and stuff, and looking him eye to eye. And so he said, you ready? I said, yeah, I'm going back in. And so I ran out there, lined up in the proper place in the huddle, got in the proper formation, and all of a sudden when I tried to go fast, my head started spinning. All I remember next was that was early third quarter. I became cognizant in the fourth.
Wow.
Everything faded to black. And I asked the guys, what was I doing on the sidelines? And they said, all you do was lapping, right? So fading to black, really sort of like, wow, I missed a whole. And then you realize, but I didn't have any sort of issues after that. But the thing for me, Tyrus, is to see you see former teammates that are
struggling,
that struggle, that you notice something is different from one year to the next.
Yeah, and in wrestling, you see a lot of that, especially the guys before me, when you see them just their gait.
Right.
Gait changes, and then you see the atrophies, and you see their reaction time is not the same.
Yes.
And the worst curse is when someone wants to talk about memory lane.
Yes.
And you can see that they're trying to go there, and it's not going.
Right.
But they still they got to keep that public appearance, and your heart hurts.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, I've experienced that, and so I'm trying to do everything I can because I love my teammates and I love people in general. So it doesn't just apply to just athletics, soldiers as well. And where's I don't know if she's here. Dr. Christina Gavignano is the Barry Sanders of doctors, man. Yes. She's working on therapies now that will reduce the swelling immediately, and which would impact obviously guys immediately and long term.
Because life is long.
Yeah,
football is short. Right?
It is.
Wrestling, basketball, baseball, it's a short part of your life. Now, some of us can parlay it into a career, but a lot of us have to go and face the real world. And
speaking of parlaying,
yeah,
you've done well, my man.
Yeah, I'll be parlaying.
Listen here, you had no idea that I knew who you were, right?
No, and that means a lot to you. I grew up looking at your billboard.
Right, I tell you, even Greg's show. I've watched you over the years. I like what you say. I like what you stand for, and so yeah.
It means an honor to me.
I thought you were an East Coast guy. I know you.
No. Listen, I was born. Okay, now I was born in Boston, but when I was 7, we moved to California.
Okay.
So when I got there, I was already locked in on my teams. But so the Lakers and me were Laker fans and me. It was on jumping because I was a Celtic fan. So I stayed hooked on my teams.
Yeah.
But I grew up California. Yeah. But I still wore a Raider jacket because everybody wore a damn Raider jacket because if you were hard and didn't want to get jacked, you better. Right. If you have a Raider jacket on, chances are you might be somebody else.
Hard. You know what was really interesting? I really feel like LA is such a unique place. I don't live there any longer, but
me neither, unfortunately.
At the time, I mean, when you think about it, it's like you have the Lakers, right? You have the Clippers. You have the Angels, you have the Dodgers, you have the UCLA too, and you have great weather and stuff. And then I go to some places where, some of these college towns, and they're great towns, but they're their only game in town.
Yes.
LA requires a lot, though. Yes. You have to win in order to get people.
If you want people to show up in LA, you have to win, or you have to win
because there's just too many other alternatives, right? And we won, so I was thrilled about that. So
FC still does good, but it's always going to be in California. Who are you now?
Right,
and that's why the Chargers. Unless Chargers win the Super Bowl, that's why you can always get a ticket. No offense,
right?
And that's why the Raiders went to Vegas.
Do you ever go to Raider games?
Have
you ever met Mark Davis?
Mark Davis? No, I've not met Mark Davis.
Dude, you ought to come to a game.
I would love to come in, especially in Vegas.
I'll get you sitting in the suite with you, man.
Absolutely. That's a great way to end this. I am going with Marcus Allen.
He said it.
To a
He's gonna
Raiders
go
game.
to a Raiders
I'm
game in
going.
Vegas.
People enjoy the hell out of it. Plus,
Right.
Tom Brady's part of ownership.
There you go,
1,000%,
man.
I'm in
There
there.
you go. Come on. We got
I'm in
Pete Carroll now. Come
Yeah.
on. Chip Kelly.
I'm in there, and
I just saw Max. I said, Max, listen, don't go. We need you, baby.
Yeah, no, he's sick. But yeah, that would be an honor, an absolute honor, and any chance I can get to say, "Honey, it's for business." That I had to go watch the game. I
You
mean,
can bring the family.
oh yeah, they would love it.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for your time, man.
Consider that done.
It's done.
I'll make it happen.